Most people aren't blocked by lack of chances. They're blinded by noise. Looking is everywhere. Seeing is rare. There's a thin line between those two, and it decides whether you keep scrolling past the door God opened or you walk through it. Tonight, we're not chasing luck. We're training sight, biblical sight. Proverbs 20:12 tells us, "The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord hath made even both of them." If God made it, He can train it. And if He can train it, you can practice it, daily, simply, faithfully. Here's my promise to you. In a few minutes, you'll have a clear, 3-step habit for turning everyday annoyances into assignments, a 30-day plan that fits real life, and a short prayer that settles your heart and steadies your hands. I'm going to ask you one question that may bother you, in a good way. Where did you almost see it last month? The open lane, the unserved customer, the broken system nobody wants to fix. Isaiah 43:19 reveals, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." That's the issue for most of us. Not, is God working? But, am I perceiving? Be sure to watch this video until the end. I'll show you how to swap borrowed attention for holy perception, how to notice the small void right in front of you, how to kindle a tiny test in 72 hours, and how to raise a simple, repeatable structure that serves people and pays fairly. No hype, no tricks, just clean work, clear results, and peace about the path you're walking. And we won't keep it vague. It will be as clear as Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables that a man may read it swiftly. If you felt overlooked, distracted, or late to the game, this is not punishment, it's an invitation. You are about to learn to see so that tomorrow, you can move. And once you start seeing, you won't be able to stop. Most of us don't lack talent, we lack trained perception. So here's the simple ladder you'll climb again and again. Notice, kindle, raise. Notice means you deliberately look for quiet gaps, not flashy trends. You practice seeing like a craftsman, not scrolling like a consumer. When something looks messy or inefficient, pause. Ask, what exactly is missing here? The wise already modeled this in Proverbs 24:32. Then I beheld and considered well. I saw and received instruction. That's the noticing muscle. You don't judge the field, you study it until it teaches you. Next comes kindle. Tiny fire, not bonfire. One small testable offer in 72 hours to learn what people truly value. You are not guessing alone. You're allowed to ask for light, and God said exactly that in Jeremiah 33:3. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and will tell thee great things, and hidden pray, then move your feet. Draft one sentence that promises one clear result for one person by one date. Finally, raise. Turn that small win into a quiet, repeatable structure. How you deliver, follow up, and prove the outcome. Don't let ideas stay underwater. The designs in a man's mind are deep waters, but a man of understanding can draw them. Proverbs 25. Pull the idea up. Give it legs. Put it on a simple cadence. Who you help each week, how you measure it, how you invite them back. That's the ladder. You climb it with humility, you climb it with speed, and you climb it again tomorrow. Now let's anchor this in stories, ancient proof with modern stakes. Because perception has always separated the builders from the bystanders. A city lay broken and everyone could see the rubble, but one man saw an assignment. He walked the ruins at night, traced the cracks, and spoke plainly. "Ye see the evil case that we are in. Come and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem." Nehemiah 2:17. And the answer wasn't theory, it was action. Let us rise up and build. Nehemiah 2:18. That's notice, kindle, raise in sandals. A widow faced creditors with almost nothing. She named what she did have, followed instruction, worked behind a closed door, and watched provision multiply until there were no empty vessels left. The finish is practical, not mystical. Go, sell the oil and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy sons of the rest. 2 Kings 4:7. Quiet obedience, measurable outcome. And then Ruth, no spotlight, no platform, asked for permission to glean. She noticed a lawful gap at the edges of the field and turned it into daily bread. Let me now go to the field and glean among the ears of corn. Ruth 2:2. These aren't glamorous moments, they're honest ones. They prove that prosperity begins where perception meets work. Which brings it to us. The best opportunities right now are small, local, and patient. Plant consistently, early and late, because results reveal themselves over time. In the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening withhold not thy hand. Ecclesiastes 11:6. If you will notice what others ignore, kindle one small proof this week and raise it into a steady rhythm, you will feel the ground under your feet change. And when it does, don't be surprised. You didn't get lucky. You finally saw. You don't find opportunities by wishing, you find them by noticing voids with intention. Start close to the ground. Walk your block, your inbox, your shop floor, your client list. Where are people waiting? Where are they apologizing? Where do they repeat themselves because no one designed the handoff? Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. Proverbs 27:23. Make a simple map. Time gaps, trust gaps, translation gaps, tool gaps, taste gaps. Time gaps are places where people lose minutes and patience. Trust gaps are places where fear stops the purchase. Translation gaps are where experts talk past normal people. Tool gaps are missing checklists, templates, or tutorials. Taste gaps are underserved preferences. Stand still long enough to receive direction. Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. Jeremiah 6:16. And when the route is unclear, listen for the nudge, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, This is the way, walk ye in it. Isaiah 30:21. Practice cautious boldness, eyes open, steps measured. A prudent man seeth the evil and hideth himself, but the thoughtless pass on and are punished. Proverbs 22:3. Keep a pocket notebook or a notes file. Every day, list 3 small annoyances you actually touched. That's your gold. Unpolished, unglamorous, real. Kindle is where you turn one of those annoyances into a tiny test within 72 hours. One promise, one person, one channel, one date. Do not despise the small start, for who hath despised the day of small things? Zechariah 4:10. Pick the smallest scope that still proves value. A 1-page setup, a 30-minute fix, a 2-day turnaround. Commit your work before you complicate it. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Proverbs 16:3. Action beats analysis when the goal is learning. If you stare at the weather, you'll never plant. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. Ecclesiastes 11:4. Write a single, plain sentence. I will deliver risur by ma ri, so that you achieve words. Charge a fair learning price. Free work hides the lesson. Remember, in all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. Proverbs 14:23. Do the small thing well, ask permission to capture a before and after, and close the loop with gratitude. And let the graciousness of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands upon us. Psalms 90:17. Raise is where you stop treating wins like accidents and start building a quiet, repeatable structure. Outline how you promise results, what assets you need, your delivery interval, your safety rails, and your evidence. Build like a wise housemaker. Through wisdom is a house builded, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge are the chambers filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Proverbs 24:3-4. Set your cadence, weekly check-ins, monthly reviews, renewal offers, because steady thoughtfulness creates plenty. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but everyone that is hasty hasteth only to want. Proverbs 21:5. Put fairness in the frame, clear scope, clean billing, honest timelines, because righteous measures keep trust. A perfect and just weight shalt thou have, a perfect and just measure shalt thou have. Deuteronomy 25:15. Don't build alone in a silo. Seek counsel, gather feedback, and turn testimonials into proof others can see. Where no wise guidance is, a people falleth, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Keep records like a craftsman, what you promised, what you delivered, what changed, so the next client moves faster. Raise is not drama, it is order, clarity, and care repeated until the market starts introducing you to your next customers. Top of form, bottom of form. The proof lives in quiet stories that look small until you measure the change. A neighbor kept losing Saturdays to a chaotic pickup system at his shop. He noticed the time gap, kindled a 2-day fix, numbered slots, a simple text ahead, and raised it into a weekly rhythm. Customers stopped pacing. Refunds dropped, tips went up. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Proverbs 22:29. He didn't become famous. He became reliable, and reliable people get introduced to more work. Another friend helped a clinic translate medical jargon into plain words. 1-page guides, a 5-minute walkthrough for new patients. Missed appointments fell, and so did fear. So shalt thou find grace and good favor in the sight of God and man. Proverbs 3:4. Favor isn't luck. It is clarity served consistently. A third case, a retired teacher turned taste gaps into a microservice. Custom memory books for families using scanned photos and a short interview. Small price, honest timeline, careful edits. Word of mouth did the advertising. He that keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, and he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. Proverbs 27:18. None of these plays went viral on a screen, but all of them changed a household ledger. Remember the source. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. And work the ground already under your feet. He that tilleth his ground shall have plenty of bread. But he that followeth after vain things is void of understanding. Proverbs 12:11. Prosperity without character is only a heavier burden. Perception must be governed by ethics or it curdles into manipulation. Start with the plumb line of fairness. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a perfect weight is his delight. Proverbs 11:1. Price clearly, deliver plainly, and never move the goalposts after you're paid. Your name is worth more than a swollen margin. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Proverbs 22:1. Pay promptly. Never squeeze the vulnerable. Thou shalt not oppress thy neighbor, nor rob him. Leviticus 19:13. Keep mercy in the model, room for kindness and repairs when people stumble. He hath told thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with thy God. Micah 6:8. When good is due, deliver it. Withhold not good from him to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thy hand to do it. Proverbs 3:27. Build boundaries that protect both sides. Scope in writing, clear timelines, honest guarantees, so trust grows instead of frays. Ethics doesn't slow you down, it keeps the road open. Now we put the whole thing on rails with a 30-day sprint you can start tonight. Week 1 is notice. Walk your route, talk to real people, collect 15 voids, shortlist 3, choose 1. So teach us to number our days, that we may get us a heart of wisdom. Psalms 90:12. Use a simple grid. Who is stuck? Where time leaks? What small promise would ease the pain? Prepare the work before you decorate it. Prepare thy work without, and make it ready for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thy house. Proverbs 24:27. Week 2 is Kindle. Build the tiniest useful version of your promise. Set a date within 72 hours. Deliver it to a real person. Don't chase perfect, chase proof. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do it with thy might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. Week 3 is Raise. Capture evidence, before, after, a line of feedback, a number that moved, and turn delivery into a cadence you can repeat. Steady gain beats flashy spikes. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Proverbs 13:11. Week 4 is repeat. Keep what works, cut what drags, clone the clean parts. Stay guided as you refine, and the Lord shall guide thee continually, and satisfy thy soul in drought, and make strong thy bones. Isaiah 58:11. Keep the book near your mouth and the work near your hands. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Joshua 1:8. At the end of 30 days, you won't just have ideas, you'll have a rhythm, a name that means something in a small circle, and a plain next step. Common failure modes will try to steal this from you, so name them now and you'll see them coming. Pretty work syndrome makes you polish logos while the real opportunity sits unserved. Chase proof before polish because where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. Proverbs 14:4. Crowd hearing makes you chase what's trending instead of what's needed. Keep your eyes forward. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Proverbs 4:25. Price. Panic makes you undercharge and sabotage your learning. Remember that value flows to diligence. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Proverbs 12:24. Silent finish makes you deliver and disappear. Ask for clear evidence and stories so the next person can trust you. A man hath joy in the answer of his mouth, and a word in due season. How good is it? Proverbs 15:23. And drifting plans will make you busy without direction. Anchor each week with one promise you can keep. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Proverbs 16:3. None of these require genius to defeat. Only honesty, small steady steps, and the humility to start again tomorrow. Though a righteous man fall 7 times, he riseth up again. Proverbs 24:16. Now the nightly practice, the missing eye habit that turns anxiety into action in under 7 minutes. Sit down with one small page. First, recount the day in 3 lines without judgment. Second, answer 3 questions. What did I not see today? Where did I hurry and miss the signal? What small truth did I learn that I can test tomorrow? Third, write 1-sentence promise for tomorrow and set a time. Close the page and rest in the knowledge that you are being led. It is of the Lord that a man's goings are established, and he delighted in his way. Psalms 37:23. Keep your trust simple and your path straight. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not upon thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. Refuse the late-night spiral. Plant your worry into a scheduled act. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he will sustain thee. Psalms 55:23. Then sleep. Tomorrow belongs to hands that rise with purpose. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame. Proverbs 10:5. You don't need to conquer the year tonight. You only need to see the next right step and take it. Before we close, let's create social momentum around real work. If you're hearing me right now, name one void, one sentence, in your city or niche that ordinary people are suffering through. Post it plainly so others may see and strengthen the solution. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Proverbs 27:17. If you already ran a small test, share your before and after in one line. It teaches more than theory. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge. Proverbs 15:7. And if you're hesitating, borrow courage from the promise that provision often meets movement. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. Psalms 81:11. Don't hoard the good you've learned. Send this to one builder who needs steady eyes and a simple plan. There is that scattereth and increaseth yet more, and there is that withholdeth more than is meet, but it tendeth only to want. Proverbs 11:24. What we're doing here is small on purpose, local on purpose, faithful on purpose, because houses are raised one beam at a time. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Psalms 127 verse 1. Rest is a competitive advantage because perception dulls when life is all noise. Build a rhythm that includes stopping on purpose. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, Exodus 28. Not just a rule, but design. When you cease from striving, patterns surface, and solutions you were straining to invent arrive unforced. If thou turn away thy foot because of the Sabbath, and call the Sabbath a delight, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord. Isaiah 58:13-14. Guard one day as sacred margin, no selling, no tweaking, no chasing, so your workdays regain sharpness, because to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. This rest is communal, not just personal. 6 days shalt thou do thy work, but on the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may have rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. Exodus 23:12. When you slow the engine, your team, vendors, and household regain breath, and grateful people work with clearer eyes. Design literal edges in your calendar the way Israel left edges in their fields. Thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and for the stranger. Leviticus 19:9-10. Margin creates space for compassion, review, and thank you notes. It also invites provision you can't manufacture. For it is vain for you that ye rise early and sit up late. So he giveth unto his beloved in sleep. Psalms 127:2. Honor longer cycles too. In the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of solemn rest for the land. Leviticus 25:4. You may not keep a full sabbatical year, but you can schedule lighter quarters, quiet weeks, and off-grid days. Rest is not retreat. It is strategic upkeep of sight, heart, and hands, so your 6 days become sharper, kinder, and more profitable. Let me give you a short, plain prayer to seal this, and then you go and work your plan. If you agree with the words, you can say Amen at the end. Maker of the seeing eye and the hearing ear, teach us to perceive what you have placed within our reach. Give us clean motives, steady hands, and honest scales. Guard our steps from distraction and our hearts from fear. Establish our goings in what is just and kind. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in an even path. Psalms 27:11. We ask for wisdom to notice the quiet gaps, courage to kindle the small test, and strength to raise what serves our neighbors well. Let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands upon us. Yea, the work of our hands establish thou it. Psalms 90:17. And as we build, keep us humble and generous, quick to make amends, faithful to our word, mindful that all ability comes from you. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow therewith. Proverbs 10:22. May our names be good before you, and good before men. May our measures be true, and may our labor bring peace to our homes. Amen. If you're still with me, here's your simple send-off. Tonight, list 3 annoyances you actually touched. Choose one. Write one sentence. I will deliver this by this date so that you achieve this result. Set a fair learning price. Tell one person. Do it in 72 hours. Record the before and after. Repeat next week. That is notice. That is kindle. That is raise. Fix the quiet things and your reputation will travel without noise. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth. A stranger, and not thine own lips. Proverbs 27:2. Keep your boundaries bright, your language plain, your hands diligent. In the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death. Proverbs 12:28. And as you go, do not fear the size of your beginnings or the pace of your progress. Seed becomes stalk, stalk becomes bread, bread becomes strength for the next day's work. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. Ecclesiastes 11:4. Go sow anyway. Look until you see, then move,